All right, thanks for tuning in. For today's video, for you guys who like to catch stripers, what do you do when there's no seagulls around on this particular day? It's going to be a bright, sunny day, very little wind. It's going to be tough fishing conditions. So I had got off work, got 3 hours of sleep, which is more than I normally get when I get to go fishing. But I only had a couple hours to fish because I had to come home, get some more sleep before I had to go back to work. Conditions were kind of tough, but I target deep underwater points and ledges. The fish will use these ledges to push bait up against the wall of the ledge. They can kind of trap the bait, makes it easier for them to capture the bait. But stay tuned for this one. There's some good fish. Again, I only had a couple hours, so I didn't catch a ton of fish, but the ones I caught were good ones. But thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to the channel. I'm back out here where I belong. It is cold this morning. I got a grand total of 3 hours of sleep, so I'm feeling pretty good. More than I normally get. Water's still pretty muddy. It's about the longest. I've been fishing up here for a long time. It's about the longest this water has stayed this muddy that I can remember. Got a little bit of a breeze this morning. It's been a tough year for fishing wise. I normally always catch fish on this point. I haven't caught one yet this year. Very unusual. So I'm going to fish it quick, and then I'm going to head over to another point here. I keep trying because I know, fish will use the same areas year after year. There he is. What did I say? Oh, and it's a striper too. I think it is. Pretty sure it's a striper. Oh, it's got to be. That's why I keep coming back trying this point. There he goes. I think I better, now that I've got my fish on, I can put my mitten back on, keep my hands warm. I better follow this one. There's a tree over this way. I don't want him to break me off. Oh boy. He is under the boat. I believe it's a big one here, because he just bulldogging, just staying down. Man, I love catching the stripers. Well, he's taking me in circles now. Boy. So I've got an 8-pound Gamma fluorocarbon. And when you hook a big one like this, use your trolling motor to follow them. It makes it easier to land them. What a way to start the morning. I can see them on the surface here. Come on, fish. Boy, he's doing his best to break me off on the boat. I gotta look at him. He's a nice one. Alright. Gotta get my pliers. Nice big old monster to start the morning. Beautiful. All right. I love it. So I just retied. A lot of times on light line like that, you fight a big striper and they'll pull your knot so tight that it'll break you off on your next fish. So there just might be another. Boy, what a way to start the morning. Man, in this muddy water too. I've been catching a few, you know, first thing in the morning. There'll be a few, you know, they feed better in low light conditions. That's why overcast days are better for catching stripers. So anyway, I'm using my hair jig. Any hair jig will work. Just, you know, you can Google them. There's a million manufacturers that make them. Really shocked that there's only one. You know, lately it's been singles. Normally a striper is a schooling fish. You'll catch, you know, they feed together. There should be a bunch of them. Any minnow imitation will work. You just got to get it in front of them. They're not that picky. Striper is an eating machine. So I've got a 7-foot medium heavy. It is a Kistler Z-Bone rod, and I've got a 2500 size Shimano Vanford reel. You better make sure you got a good drag if you're catching stripers with light line. So we're out here deep one time. Deeper anyway. I caught that fish. He was probably 10 feet deep. 10 feet deep is my guess. I see some fish way deep. Those really deep ones have been hard to catch lately, especially in this dirty water. There he is. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't think this is a striper. I don't know though. Nope, it's a big old spot. I'll take them all. I love catching them all. Oh boy. Actually, it's a big old largemouth. I mean, a good one. Make me get my hands wet. It's a big, chunky largemouth. Nice. Okay. Gotta put my hands in my pocket for a minute. Oh. Man, you gotta love that. Wow. Boy, he was deep too. That fish, I'm setting in 30 feet of water. That fish was probably in 20 feet. Nice largie. I like the multi-species days. That's one of the, one reason why I love this jig. It'll catch them all. Whereas if you're throwing a big black and blue jig, you're only going to catch bass for the most part. That's so satisfying. That thump. Right now I've got the whole lake to myself up here. It's the way I like it. So my jig is chartreuse. I'll give you a quick look. Just chartreuse and small. They're feeding on threadfin shad, which aren't very big. So I start out deep on a point like this. I'll cast, every 10 yards or so, working my way in shallower. See if I can find where the fish are. Just pointing out, this is the front of my boat here. It's a little 5-inch screen. It's an old Humminbird unit. I don't have fancy, forward-facing sonar. I'll show you back here on the console. I got another, just a little 5-inch unit. Don't even have it on at this point. You don't have to have, sure, I'd like to have the fancy $3,000 forward-facing unit, but you don't have to have it to catch fish. There we go. I don't think that's a fish. Yep, it is though. It is. He's just fighting. He hit it funny and he came off. Darn it. Darn it. Nice. It was another largemouth. Nice one. Not as big as the first one. What a fish. And I had to go deep to catch him. Hey now. got here? A little stripey. Nice little striper. Not what I expected. So you can see right here, this is the point I'm coming up to. It's got an old road bed on it. It's got good structure. Show you in the fish finder here. A couple of fish. 23 feet. Chunky spot. Man, I'm having to fish way deep. Way deep. See this big log floating here? That's dangerous times to be up here running your boat fast. You hit that, it's trouble. I'm kind of targeting deep fish right now. Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's bass and there's stripers. If you can find ledges or deep drop-offs, a lot of times there'll be a fish on it. Gotta be a striper. It's another doozy. One. Just to give you an idea of the stuff I'm fishing, this isn't much of a point, but it drops off pretty steep. It's got rocks. It's kind of a bluff wall underneath the surface. And the fish will push the bait fish right up against that wall and feed. All right, I've run out of time. I got to go home and get some sleep. That was a tougher day than I expected. You know, no wind hardly, bluebird skies. You're going to hit days like that, but I caught enough fish to keep it interesting. Only a couple hours of fishing. A couple of magnificent stripers. I love those fish. Nice largemouth. You know, I can't complain. When fishing gets tough, any finesse bait, just a minnow imitation. Look for points and, you know, the drops, steep drops. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. It's really fairly simple. But thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you next time.